Greetings. We are here. We're ready for another episode. Mandy, hello. How are we doing?
Amani, you look like you're in a jail cell. Where are you?
I'm
Where
not
are
in
you right now?
hold on. I'm not in a jail
You
cell.
didn't get it. You didn't picked up to the clink. You didn't get to the clink in the last 24 hours.
No, I'm not in the clink.
Good. Thank
I'm in
goodness.
Phoenix, Arizona for the National Speakers Association annual influence conference. And this is day 4. This is day 4 of the conference.
Ooh, you're in the home stretch. I keep seeing so many people posting. I keep seeing our friend Aaron King. I
Yeah.
see you. I see like all these different people are posting about NSA. It looks like it's been a really good show so far. What's been a highlight for you?
I would say the highlight was probably actually most recently. There's two highlights. We just had a panel discussion when there were bureaus and speaker agents on stage talking about how to best work with them, which is always interesting.
Yeah.
That was interesting. And then I would say I had a booked event while I was here in downtown Phoenix yesterday, which was cool and had some good attendance, and it was good. That's probably the second highlight there.
Ooh. So who booked that one for you? Was that done through book launches or did you just suss it out? How did that go down?
Yeah, that was done by the booking agency of Amani right there.
Yes, Amani,
Yeah, so
booking
that
agent extraordinaire.
that was me. Work with a bookstore, independent bookstore, black owned. It was good. It was really good. So every city that I try to get to, if I can make it happen. So this was another good one. Also at the conference, a friend of the program, Julie Broad, is with us here. So she's here.
Oh, fun.
She presented yesterday. There's probably a bunch of people you know that are here for sure.
Yeah, I keep seeing all the posts. Julie, poor Julie and I have had back and forth phone calls. Like she canceled, I canceled, she can't. We will talk someday. We will
Yeah,
talk someday
yeah,
at some. She canceled, I canceled, she can't. We will talk someday. We will
yeah,
talk someday.
yeah. With you.
Oh, Monty, this renovation's gonna break me. I'm doing- I'm gonna talk about the positive. Is my family, my some of my favorite cousins are in town from Ohio,
Okay.
and they came in town for their 10-year wedding anniversary, and they did a vow renewal last week on Thursday night over on the cliffs on Sunset Cliffs over the sunset, and they had me be their officiant. And
Ooh.
so it's just such an honor with people that you love and that you know their relationship so well. And I got to officiate their ceremony, and then we all went to dinner, and then they've been in town all weekend. So it's just been, I went on a great bike ride with Aunt Dina yesterday. And then, oh, the whole family, this is so fun. The whole family went to Gas Lamplighter on Friday night. Oh
Okay.
my gosh, it was so fun. So the Gas Lamplighter is a high end, it's like a club style karaoke bar. So imagine going to a karaoke bar, but having like really good cocktails, like the kind you don't have to send back, like really good cocktails with like foamy foamersons on the top for an espresso martini. So good. And then they have a stage and like beautiful lighting in the background. So everybody looks good on stage. And almost everybody in our group got up and sang, which was awesome. And then we ended up in the club next door, which you know me, I go to bed at 8. Beautiful lighting in the background. So everybody looks good on stage. And almost everybody in our group got up and sang. I guess, like, if you think you probably are. And
Us all out. We went out to like this party in like Beverly Hills. Us all out. We went out to like this party in like Beverly Hills. I was like, "Ooh, I'm going to Beverly Hills party." I was so excited. We went to this party. It was like 5 of us together, and we met. It was a cool party. It was interesting. That was my introduction to living in LA. It was like
woo,
18 years ago. It's crazy, almost to the date. Well, 18 years ago in April, and we've been fast friends, close friends ever since. We've been through a lot of ups and downs in life, like a lot of them, in like 18 years, and changing jobs, changing careers, doing all sorts of things. And but she's amazing. She knows about leadership. She's gonna give us good advice. So with that, I don't have my applause, but we'll say welcome to the show, Lyndal Larkin. So yes, round of applause there. You're
Linda, it's so nice to see you. Thank you for
Too.
being here.
Thank you so much for having me, and congrats on your 3-year anniversary of the
oh,
podcast. It's
Thank
incredible.
you.
That is no easy feat. It's really
yes,
No
yes.
easy feat, but we're having fun.
Thank you. Thank
yeah.
you. What I think would be pretty cool because for people, I know you, so I'm curious to see how you answer this question. But this is a question I kind of started asking recently. But if you were going to describe who Lyndal is in like 30 seconds or less, like tell us who you are, and you can only mention what you do for work in like a small part of it. So who is Lyndal?
Well, and you know I'm an extrovert, so 30 seconds is pretty tough.
Listen, I'm the same way. You can't put me on a timer, Lyndal.
I need more time. I'm going to go back to one of these words in a second, but I leverage my wisdom to support growth-minded people, leaders, to align what they say, do, and reward. And there's a connection there to a bigger picture, because there are all sorts of statistics out there, but essentially we spend about 90,000 hours of our working or our time at work, or about a third of our adult life. And I feel really strongly, both personally and professionally, that I have a calling to help maximize that, to be really deliberate and intentional in supporting people in my life to be the best versions of themselves in that.
Okay, I like it. And then outside of what you do for professionally, who is Lyndal?
Oh, okay. Well, I should be asking you that, maybe, Imani. I'm an adventurer. I'm a traveler. I live in Southern California, so I adore every sunny day, and I appreciate it. I am not from here originally. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. And so I sort of joke that I don't joke. I remember coming to LA in college and seeing the palm trees and thinking, people live like this, like palm trees every day. And I appreciate that. I am an avid, I'm a connector, and I am an avid home chef, but it's about entertaining and bringing people together with food and good wine and company and meaningful conversation. And in between that, there's some hiking and water stuff and kayaking and travel. But that's it in a nutshell. Yeah.
What's your legacy dish? Like if you're to go somewhere, they're like, we gotta have Lyndal's, whatever it is. What's something you always bring?
Oh, you know what? This year, that's funny you asked that, because this year I have been challenging myself to make new recipes. I am a planner. You were talking to someone on one of your podcasts about improv, and I did an improv class years ago, and I would drive to the class trying to plan who I was going to be. Okay, whatever happens, I'm going to be a lady with black hair, and I'm going to be in an elevator, and you can't do it, right? And it was the greatest test and challenge for me. But also with cooking, like, I have been that person that goes, oh yeah, I cook, and I do a lot of different kind of ethnicities. So I love Indian cooking. So I would say Indian is probably my specialty, but I love spices, and I make it really spicy. So it's a little bit tricky to find people that want to eat it that spicy. But I also, this year, I've been on a mission to host people and make things I've never made before, which sounds sort of trite, but it was a really big deal for me, because I want to practice it. I want it to be perfect before I put it out there. And what I wanted to kind of practice what I preach to my clients, to my friends. And so I'm still going to say Indian, but I'm playing around with a lot of different dishes right now.
I love you. You ended up being an improvisational person accidentally, in your own way. Yeah. Well, you mentioned your clients, and you've been in the coaching game for a long time, and it's funny because I started my coaching business 18 years ago, before coach was a word, right? Like, now everybody's a coach. I'm actually looking for a new word. Like, you and I could probably come up with a new coaching word, but you've been doing this before coaching was actually coaching. Yeah. And you've seen growth, and you've seen growing pains, and you've seen all of it. So I'm curious, how has coaching changed over the years? Like, what have been some of the markers, maybe in the last couple of years, that you've seen change in your clients who are being coached in terms of their growth?
Yeah. It's so funny you said 18 years. I did my first coach training in 2002. And I had initially thought I would launch my practice then. And I am so glad I didn't, because there was so much that I did not know about just the world and experience and having executive experience. And the reason I didn't launch is I was terrified of business development and the idea of getting clients. And at that time, one of the one of the classes that I did, someone came and talked to us and they said, you have to look at everybody as a potential client, your aunt, your best friend, you're giving cards out to everyone. And I went, oh, I don't know how to be authentic and do that. And so I shifted and I went back in-house. I was working in learning and development and had come from a hotel, went back into the hotel. I'm so glad I did, because there was so much more I needed to experience from a leadership and a life perspective. And so when I really started coaching, and I was using those skills internally and honing those, and then I would sort of organically get clients from that. And it was the perfect timing. But I think there's a couple of things. I think there is much more, and I think actually the pandemic accelerated this a bit as well. There's much more of an emphasis on leadership and a willingness to talk about it as a priority of talent. And when I say talent, I mean the human component, right? And saying this is really critical to our organization. And there's more of a focus on self-development than ever. I think coaching, and still we butt up against that a little bit as coaches, where there's this belief that it's remedial or something is wrong. And so oftentimes, I'll try to come up with examples of elite athletes. For example, LeBron James works with multiple coaches, top of his game, and wanting to continue the growth, the development, and that trusted resource that's going to give the feedback, that's going to say, okay, let's tweak this. And it's embracing that growth mindset that I think is really hard. I think in theory, and we read about it and we say, yeah, the growth mindset's incredible. But if you're really embracing it, it means that whatever I'm doing today, I could probably do even more effective tomorrow. And so I think we want to be perfectionists as humans a lot of times, right? And I want this to be perfect. And if I say that, I am then sort of resisting that growth mindset, if that makes sense. And so I think there is more of an awareness around that than ever. I think it used to be, wow, what did I do wrong to get assigned a coach, right? I must be about to get, and there are some exceptional coaches that work with remedial clients. I don't. I am seeking the high performer that wants to continue to get even better. And I think they've always been there, but there's more of an appetite and a comfort to be able to speak to that. There's more of a willingness for leaders, and I think maybe humans in general, to be more vulnerable and acknowledge what they don't know and that they want to learn, and to think of it much more holistically than just, I've got to prove myself and I've got to be, really exceptional all the time. And I need to figure out how to do it myself. And so I think there's more of an openness to just the conditions that create a really exceptional coaching relationship.
It's funny. I agree with that, because I do think nowadays you're talking to people. I think even 4 or 5 years ago, people never said, oh, I have a therapist, I have a coach, I have a dietitian, I have a trainer. People just kept that to themselves. And now it's almost like a badge of like, I'm working on myself. I've got that, which is great. I love it. I love self-improvement, but it's funny you say that, because I guess I hadn't thought about it that way. They're wearing it a little more like a badge right now. That's interesting. What's stunting people's growth right now in the executive space?
Good question.
Probably the lack of a growth mindset overall, right? The growth mindset says, there's the fixed and the growth mindset, and the fixed says, I am who I am, right? And I always use a really simple example of running. I am not a runner. I don't anticipate to ever be a runner, unless being chased, right?
I was going to say, I had a girlfriend that said, I'll only run if the devil's chasing me.
I'm going to take that. I'm going to borrow that.
Steal it.
But I think the growth mindset says, that anything is possible, right? I could learn to run marathons. I probably need to hire a coach and help me get there. But if I'm not embracing that belief about others as well as myself, then it's very hard to believe that there's anywhere to go than exactly where I am. So I think there's that piece of it. I think there's, similar to what you said about this kind of badge of honor and people talking more openly about therapists and trainers and all of the resources that they're using to be better at all of the different aspects of their life. I think there's more of a prioritization of that. But I think there's still a little bit, I see this dynamic sometimes of the I have to do it myself. I have to bootstrap it, right? And I've got all of these resources. There's books and now there's podcasts and those are all incredible resources, right? I just had a conversation with someone about AI and coaching, and I said AI is amazing. I utilize AI for many things. It's not the enemy, I don't believe, and I don't think it ever will be, of coaching. And interestingly enough, as kind of testing it out, I put a prompt into AI and I said, tell me about the what is the difference between using AI for leadership development or hiring an executive coach? And AI came back with one sentence. It said, AI delivers knowledge, we're hiring an executive coach. And AI came back with one sentence.